Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Toga Motorsport. Hopefully, you're all well. No, this I just want preface this with just double check all the audio is okay. But we are back with Rookie Wednesdays, season 16, the official start. We're here for round one at Hungaroring. If you know my voice, you'll know I haven't been in the comms box in a while. I'm also joined by another face tonight. Say hello, Tom.
Hello, how are you doing, Barry?
I am very good, thanks. I say very good. After the
Give
day
it
I've had,
time.
after the day I've had, debatable, but that's fine. Uh, yeah, we are all good. Oh, nice and loud, loves it. Oh, yeah, I turned my mic audio down a little bit. I saw it was really loud. It's the first time I'm streaming in a while, so please bear with me. Um, I will probably do something dumb, so just
It
please.
may already have happened. I'm not convinced the Twitch is working, so I'll give you a second to look at that if you like, and
Oh
I'll talk some
no.
nonsense for a moment.
Is
This is season 16. It's amazing that we've been going this long, actually, for Rookie Wednesdays. And there are a couple of changes it's worth noting. So right now, you'll notice that a whole bunch of the drivers haven't set times, and yet we are almost, 9 minutes into a 20-minute qualifying session. The reason for that is that our qualifying is now split into two mini sessions, so to speak. We've got 10 minutes for the rookies, which is what you've got right now. And then we'll have 10 minutes for the AM drivers. At the moment in the rookies, the pace has been set by Jared Warren in the number 28 Ford. He's done a 1:44.920. Behind him, Luke Hart and Panos Korikis, followed by Anatoly Krotov, Uncle One, and a fan favourite, Kevin Pakiri, who actually now jumps up into 5th position, around about a second off of that pole time. Expect all of these times to drop as we get in towards the AM section of qualifying, because the likes of Dean Moreno, Jasper Wiesenberg, Matthews Corney, Dobson, Kuta, Dean Murrell, of course, reigning champion, they're all still to come. But for this, it'll be Anatoly's final lap in qualifying and gives us a first glance at the round one circuit. We're at Hungaroring. It's a great season, which I'm sure we'll get into in just a minute, but it means that we kick off the season with a hairpin right. What more could you ask for in Rookie Wednesdays?
Oh yeah, it means the perfect opportunity to go Bottas bowling. Which I will preface that with the drivers have been warned to not do that. So I pray that they don't, because the stewards are going to need a lot of crayons if that's the case. I will say the Twitch stream is dead, and I don't really know why. I've just been told Hayden said it's a Twitch thing, so I'm just going to leave it at that. YouTube and TikTok are the two sources we are on tonight. It's supposed to be Twitch as well, but Twitch is having a mare. Ignore that. So yeah, it is now 10 minutes to go, which means any AM drivers who are on a lap, or no, sorry, any rookie drivers who are still on a lap can finish it. Every other rookie driver will have to return to the guards. So as you see, Chris Criddle is on his last lap. He started before the 10-minute mark, so he gets to do it. And everyone else is in the garage. So now the AMs are out, so we expect to see some competitive times from the AM drivers, because they are deemed to be the faster class. Of course, it's not necessarily always the case, depends on the track, but, you know, it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see.
And we will often have a bit of mix-up between the classes as well. Warren, Hart, Korikis at the top. We expect them to be amongst the mid of the AM order. And if they're up towards the top, I mean, that is properly flying. Chris Criddle on your screen right now. Currently, almost 0.2 of a second up, actually, as he heads in towards what is a tricky Sector 3. Turn 12, expect a couple of lunges here as we get in towards the opening laps of the race. They won't always end well, but you can expect to see them at least. And then two 180-degree sweepers to round out the lap. This is 13, where it's all about the mid-corner speed. 14, your final corner, is generally all about the exit, but of course, last flying lap of qualifying, short run to the line. What can Criddle do? 10th.5 up, 2/10 up almost. He's sixth for now. He needs 2/10 to get up to 5th. Didn't quite find it, but 6th, row 3 within your class, I think that's a pretty solid performance.
Absolutely. It does say there's still a couple of rookies out there. I think they started their lap. I'd like to hope. Is that a
It'll be tight.
991?
It looks like a 991. Yeah, the rear of the car much more, what should we say, light than the 992.
You are a brave man for driving that car, sir. I will commit. I will give you that. So I will say, every rookie is still out there, is in the pits, except one. So stewards, if you're listening, car 26 should not be out on quali now, just so you're aware. So as we discussed, please deal with that. Hopefully they're listening. Technically I can, but I'm streaming, so I don't really want to be doing admin-y stuff. Or actually,
we've got to concentrate on entertaining all the folks at home. That's our job. We'll leave the difficult stuff to everybody else.
Actually, let me see. I'm going to quickly do this.
26.
That should have worked. It hasn't. Oh, has my admin powers not worked? Oh, damn it.
You've been demoted, Barry. Joined me in the commentary box and immediately lost your power.
Big sad. 1 second. I'm just putting it. Oh no, there we go. I think Hayden got it for me. I think. Good lad, Hayden. Yep. So 1 second. I'm all over the place at the moment. Cool. So a couple of cars out. So here we are looking at Dean Merle. I think that's how you say it. Is our current reigning champion of the AM class, I believe.
He is indeed.
He was driving the Mustang last season. He's taken a slightly more insane approach this time round, I want to call it, and it's in the Nissan. I will say the Nissan is very good around this track. I was in the mid 43s in that car because you could just chuck it in the corners.
It rides the curbs well, and there's a couple of curbs that you really do smash into here in Hungary. The other one to note is that he won last season with 4 wins, 275 points. So even if the car is maybe not quite as quick as the Mustang, he's obviously got the pace to be up there. So we'll hopefully stay with him on this lap. Down towards turn number 1, give you a tour of Hungaroring. Your braking marker for that one just before the board that we saw. Then it's a late apex to get on the power, and it's downhill into a turn that, I don't know about you, Barry, but I absolutely love this one at turn 2. Overtaking down the inside is possible, and in qualifying, you're right on the limit of the front right.
Oh, absolutely. It's very good when you know you can take that corner well, and you're maybe, especially in a race, you're fighting someone who doesn't seem to have it quite right with the trail braking and getting that apex swung around properly, because you know where you can exploit the weakness, because that corner is very tricky, but you get it right. It's fantastic.
Then we've already gone through 4 and 5. This is us heading towards 6 and 7. Look how much curb that Nissan takes. The McLaren was taking a fair chunk itself, but the Nissan gobbling up over the apex, and then into the sector where Nissan might struggle just a little bit more as we come through the flowing S's of 8, 9, 10, and eventually 11, where you properly do throw the car into this right-hander, pick up an apex and stamp back on the gas out the other side, all the way up to the edge of track limits, but I believe he just about kept it in there. And now it's hard on the brakes into that aforementioned turn 12, where Barry, I've tried a few lunges up there. I think less of them have come off than the ones that have worked, but it's so tempting.
I'll tell you this now. I have a love-hate relationship with that corner, because during a league championship, it was at Hungaroring. I'm driving the Bentley in this championship, by the way, and I was fighting for the class win, which says it all, really. And I got lunged at that corner, wiped out, and then recovered and got taken out the corner after on the same lap. So I'm not a big fan of that corner for that reason. And one returning driver is Matt Picorni, driver of Toga Academy. I don't have the livery. I did do a clean out of my liveries a while ago, and I don't think I have it on me, which is bad considering I run the racing team. So I apologize in advance, but that livery on that car is gorgeous. Pockets goes P4 in class, 1 second of Wiesenberg, who set a 43.8. That is a blistering time, and he's going 3/10 faster.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Wiesenberg ran in the AM class of the Pro Series recently, so he really will be a name to keep your eye on. Anybody who can go 8/10 quicker than James Joyce is absolutely flying the flag beyond track limits, though.
He's just sent it too hard. I will say, and every driver is notified of this when they sign up for our championship, if you're way too fast, you will be asked to leave the championship and find one more suited to your much faster driving style, as this is, at the end of the day, a rookie championship. It is for the lesser, like, I can't England today. It's for the drivers that maybe aren't as quick or haven't got as much experience. So, you know, if you're way too quick, it's no fun for anyone else.
No, the expected cutoff is a 45.27 around here today. That, on past experience, means that everything down to about a 44.2 you might see in qualifying, but a 43.8 is properly quick from Jasper.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just going to keep up with the chats a little bit. Luke Wilson's in the YouTube chat. Welcome in, Luke. The Red Bull fiasco. Yeah, don't even talk to him about that, bro. It's been a nightmare of a day. A death counter for the chicane will be very funny. If Joyce has to go pull, he's gonna cop a flick to the forehead. I'll hold you to that. I'll expect to see a video of that if that happens. And then looking into TikTok chat, welcome in everyone. Rookies and Abs in the same class. Yes, it's going to be a bit spicy. That's the entertainment factor of our rookie series. What are you playing? Assetto Corsa Competizione. One of the best sim racing games out there. For ACC, what's the minimum SA needed? It depends on what you're racing in. For us, I believe I don't think we have a safety rating requirement for our races, but we do have an attendance ratio requirement at SimGrid because we don't want people to sign up and then not bother showing up, which seems to be what happens. Alan, do you also have PlayStation comps? We do run a few one-off console races. We've done a few so far. You'll need to maybe ask in the Discord and poke Hayden to see if he's going to do any more. I think he's got a couple more in the pipeline, so keep an eye on our Discord for that.
James Joyce on this lap, by the way, is finding improvement, or at least was until he's abandoned the lap. But that means he's only got one more go at this, still sitting 5th. And James, traditionally, over the last couple of seasons, I think has been the best qualifier in Rookie Wednesdays. So 5th for him will be a bit of a disappointment, particularly given his rather patient driving style when he's in traffic. So he's hard on the brakes into turn number 1. Gets it down to the apex. The BMW is new to him. I was talking to him about that at the end of last season. I gave it a go. Found it fine, would be my description of it. It does everything pretty well. It does nothing brilliantly, was my experience. And I wonder if that's what he's finding now. Having driven the Mustang, quite an extreme car in what it's good at, he's now having to balance everything a little bit more around the lap.
Yeah. I will say I drive the BMW a lot. Not because I want to, but because if I'm running races with Toga, that's generally the favorite. That's generally the favorite car, and I can drive it. It's not that I can. I can. I would prefer to just drive the Porsche all the time, or the Aston. And I will say the Porsche is fantastic around this track, and I'm a little bit sad to not see many of them around. Oh, James, you are flirting with the track limits there.
Right on the limit, but I suppose that's the advantage of driving something with the engine in the front, is you can get away with that sort of stuff. And he's right up to the edge again is James Joyce. He's finding not even a 10th on this lap, to be fair, but it's in the final sector where he got held up. Let's remember, the time has ticked down to 0. Anybody that crosses the line is done. That includes Bizarric in 2nd place, half a 10th off the potential pole. James Joyce will hope to challenge that, as he's found a 1/4 of a second already through turns 11 and 12, and we've still got 1.5 to go.
Yeah, you can see him fighting the car a little bit there through the corner there, trying to keep that minimum speed up, as you were mentioning. Just has he run out of fuel? Oh, James! Oh, James! Oh, James! That is shocking behaviour. One car to look out for is Paul Mank. Paul Mank, he's a long-standing driver around Toga Motorsport, drives a lot of our races. Tackling the Merc for a change. Very interesting choice, I will say. Is about 4/10 up, and this is going to propel him into around where James Joyce is, if he can hold this.
He set a purple first sector on this lap too, which is properly quick from the second place finisher back in season 13. Mancunian out the final corner. We know that Mercedes can be a wrestle. What's it like over the line? He's dropped down to 11th and picks it back up to 7th. Comes the flag. Just one behind James Joyce at the end, actually. That'll be a properly good fight, Joyce versus Paul.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Paul Mank is he's a really consistent driver. Like I wouldn't say he's the fastest driver in the world, and that's not a dig at anyone for any reason. It's just but when he is driving, he's pretty consistent, and if he can keep his nose clean, he'll be up there. Condor, your car number 710. Who was that? Your P16.
That is Anatoly Krotov.
Yes, we will keep an eye on you throughout the race, of course. Out of fuel, apparently. Look, I expect the video of you flicking James's head after the race. I expect payment in that video. Thanks. All right, cool. I don't know if you want to do a grid walkthrough, Tom. I'm gonna throw.
The trial by fire here at Toga Motorsport.
I'm gonna throw you in the deep end here with my fantastic transitional animation skills here. I swear that.
Tell you what, I already feel sick looking at this camera. What's going on?
Let me know whenever you're ready.
Grand. Well, at the back on the right, in that lovely red and yellow Ferrari, you've got Matteo De Sepp in 29th position. Just ahead of him on his left is Joshua Wright in 28th, sharing the row with Alex Ross. That's the 88 in 27th. 26th is where you'll find Michael Thompson in the first of our two Mercedes, with Johannes Bloom for company in the number 25th, sorry. Jacko Grisel in the first of our BMW starts 24th, with Ben Beams for company in the 69 Porsche, starting from 23rd. Alexander Molins, long-term Rookie Wednesdays driver in the 989 McLaren, starts 22nd, sharing the row with Uncle One in the Treble One Porsche. Keep an eye out on that one. Lovely livery too.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Like the bronze. Then we get up into our top 20, which is where we find Ratiya Masawara. Oh, that's getting butchered all night. I do apologize. The first of our ramp drivers in the 380 McLaren. Another McLaren on that row number 10, actually, and another long-term driver, Jacob Dobson, in the 720. Chris Criddle had a pretty good qualifying, starts 18th overall, sharing with a fan favourite, Kevin Picuri, in his usual BMW number 58. And then we're up to Anatoly Krotov, who we know is in chat, and Nick Liucci, moving from a BMW to Ferrari this season, but still in that lovely blue and yellow livery. Panos Karikis is up there in your top three of the AM drivers, 14th overall, just behind Luke Hart in the number 1. That's a statement, isn't it, from Luke, starting in 13th. 12th is where we find the number 35 BMW. Just ahead of that, Colin Sherlock. Can he suss this race out in the 326 McLaren? That moves us into the top 10. Dean Murrell, reigning champion in the AM class. The 612 starts 10th. Jared Warren, top of your AM qualifiers in the 28 Ford. Matusz Pokorny in the 329 Lamborghini goes from 8th, with Paul Mancunian in the second of our two Mercedes starting 7th. 6th is James Joyce. He's been the runner-up twice. Can he get himself up onto a championship in season 16? Diego Moreno starts 5th. Then we're looking at Vladislav Brorzik, Alec Remvis, and then finally your front row of the grid. We're looking at Simon Vorzarek and the man of the moment, Jasper Wiesenberg, who put it on pole in qualifying by some margin. Before we get into all of the action, we've got a formation lap, of course, and that gives me a moment to take you through a couple of changes. Eagle-eyed viewers will already have noticed that the race distance has been increased. We were doing 65 minutes. We're now up to 80 minutes. And with that, there is no mandatory pit stop. Now, we think everybody will take a stop anyway. A Porsche might get to the end on extreme fuel saving, but what it does mean is that when they take that pit stop is totally up to the drivers. They could take it 20 minutes in, they could take it an hour in. The strategy, well, they've probably decided it by their fuel load, but it is now determined by each individual rather than a pit window.
Yeah. which is good. There is a driver who's just sat on the grid. I don't know if the stewards want to do anything about that if they don't move before the formation lap ends. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, I think as a long-standing driver of the Porsche, I reckon it can do it. Just like it would be very close, and the tires would be cooked beyond belief because it eats the rears, and especially at this track, it will destroy the rears. Because
I would be tempted. I would be tempted.
I did a 2.4 hour race here, and whenever Toga did the 2.4 in 24 season. When I was driving the Porsche, and I did an hour and 40 minutes on the same set of tires. And let me tell you, that was a mistake. I think it's because I got crashed out pretty like half an hour in, so I had to take an early pit stop and went, right, I'm only going to stop for whatever fuel I need when it runs out. And it did help me get somewhat back to where I was, but it was a struggle session at the end.
What I think the pit stop window will change is that if one of our front runners finds themselves in a gravel trap early on, the recovery drive is possibly a little bit easier because you only need to get to within a tank of fuel of the end, and you can stop immediately, get any gravel out of the car, and of course, then you're free of traffic as well. So that will be a factor if you see one of our top 5 or 6 cars involved in incident down at turn number 1. Of course, a red flag is possible too if we end up with 5 drivers into the kitty litter throughout the first lap.
Yeah, so it'll be 5 drivers either in one massive crash or in 2 simultaneous crashes within the first lap. A red flag will be called. What will then happen is we will just yap for a bit while the stewards determine the cause, dish out the penalties, and restart the session. So that is all the information we believe you need for the start of the race, as they're coming in 2 by 2 into the back straight. As we're getting ready to go green, I'm going to jump to helicam, or what's the best camera for this? Probably.
I don't mind a helicam. Gives us a good view of what's about to happen as we've got an old Ferrari front row. We go racing in Rookie Wednesday Season 16, and it's a pretty even start off the front row. The second row is lagging behind all of them, however, as we go neck and neck, side by side in towards turn number 1 here in the darkness in Hungary. It's pretty safe up there in amongst the top 2 cars, and it will be Wiesenberg who holds on, but that is a lot of cars caught up in a mid-pack incident.
That will likely be a red flag if it hasn't already been called, because that was a lot of cars, and all the cars are still running at racing speed, so I would assume it hasn't been called. Another massive crash. That looks like Paul Mank is one of the cars and James Joyce is the other. It looks like they hit each other.
2
We're gonna
big runners.
We're gonna have to watch that back, because what happened there?
So in the background of shot, there's the coming together in turn 1. Treble 1 Porsche with absolutely nowhere to go amidst all of that. The field made its way into turn 2, and it'll be a pinch point at 3 that we're looking to keep an eye out for. There is James Joyce. On his inside is Paul Mancunian. 2 into 1 doesn't go.
Yeah, I think that's the case of Joyce not respecting the size of the Merc on the inside there. Maybe thought he got the move done when he hadn't. Again, anything we say about incidents is pure spectacle, is pure pinch of salt, by the way. Do not take it as fact, because we do not have all the angles. More cars off. Jared Wright was also off, but he's recovered. I think he's on a P16 now. He's fallen way down the order. One of the biggest winners in this lap is Antonelli Krutov, and I just say that as he's been rear-ended in the penultimate corner. He's currently leading the rookies at the moment, but he has been rear-ended by one of the AM drivers behind him, being a bit too eager to try and get past.
Yeah, Mahes Wara possibly involved in that one, and so your rookie leader up in 6th position overall, with a bit of damage to the back of the car now, leading by quite some margin as well, because he's got a good number of machines between himself and second place runner Chris Criddle, as there's a lunge towards the inside. That got properly close on the apex.
That was scary close, my word. Trying to go for a lunge like that is not a great idea. Dean Mural's in the pit lane as well. What happened to you? Oh my god, everyone's dead. Lucas is also in the pits. What's happened to everyone? Everyone's just been killed. The stewards are not going to be having a good time, I can only imagine. Wiesenberg's already 2 seconds clear of Voserick, by the way. He's just just walked away from this.
He is checking out. Vozorik's actually got his mirrors full of Riem Wies in the 35. In fact, no, sorry, in the 223. The pair of Ferraris nose to tail with Bobsrick, hoping they decide to get a little bit more feisty with each other. But for now, it's through the incredibly quick left of 8 and to the even quicker right of turn number 9. We are now approaching, sorry, that's 9 and 11 there. We're now approaching turn 12. Is there going to be that lunge down the inside? No, far too early for that with an hour and 16 remaining in this one. Although, in truth, if anybody wants to get after the race leader, you're going to have to get on with that and make the decision soon.
Oh, here we go, a potential move. Michael Thompson under fire from the Ferrari of Lucci. You're gonna break side by side, and both Ferraris have gotten past the Mercedes. He's had to concede. I think he's maybe nursing some damage. There is some rear end damage to that car. I would imagine that's really unsettling, a very oversteery car anyway. So he may just be struggling a little bit, hoping to get to the pit stop. Oh, but we've got side-by-side action at turn 1 for P2. Vozorik and Riem Wies are going side by side down towards turn 2. Who's gonna have the bottle here on the brakes? As it looks like, is that Vozorik on the inside? It is, and he's gonna keep P2. And he's gonna have to hold back in that he's holding off in that Max Verstappen.com racing livery, which is quite nice, I must say.
It is a good...
There's totally no contractual bias there whatsoever. As Michael Thompson's off track, what's happened to you up into turn 1? He's all by himself.
Seems like he's on his own here, so this could be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Does he dip a wheel into the grass? Oh! No, he doesn't. Does the Porsche come barreling in? No, it's Nick Liucci in the Ferrari, isn't it? No, sorry, that's the number 1. That's not Nick Liucci.
That's a horrendous. That's a horrendous dive. That is a shocking accident. That was never ever going to work. I did warn everyone to take it easy, and nobody has bothered to listen. That's sounds about right.
I think Wiesenberg's listened. He's now 4.2 seconds clear of this battle we've got on our screens.
Well, I've nothing bad to say about Wiesenberg, but maybe he's just that far ahead. He can be involved in any incidents. We don't know.
He got a clean run at turn 1, didn't he? It was side by side into 1, and since then he is making hay whilst the sun isn't shining here at Hungaroring. Maheswara in the 389. He's now coming under a little bit of pressure from the 36 of Moreno. What can Moreno offer as we come onto the pit straight? He's a classic driver here. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. There is the Nissan of Dean Murrell, who is down a lap, I believe, trying to get himself back onto the lead lap over time. And he's actually just going to disrupt this battle for a moment, which he's entitled to do, but he's now got to get on up the road.
Yeah, he technically, I wouldn't say it's unsportsmanlike, but generally you don't really want to be interfering with battles. But if you're trying to fight for the win, you've got to just push through and try and, especially if you're a much faster driver, just you got to carve through the field as quickly as you can. Especially after an incident like he had. Well, I don't actually know what incident he had because we never caught it, but there's that much going on. Oh, I will say, look at this. Kevin Bakiri is maybe having a look at the 80. Oh, he had to back out of that a little bit there. It was maybe too much of a dive into 2, but is keeping the Porsche honest. Oh, but the
That Porsche didn't look comfortable, did it, at turn number 3, and that opens up the inside for 4.
And Kevin Bakiri's on the inside, but I think he's just keeping it cautious for now. He doesn't want to make any ridiculous sense, as he knows far too well how badly that turns out, because he's been quite unlucky in past seasons of Rookie Wednesdays where he's been absolutely murdered for no reason, other than people just not paying attention. So I think he's just trying to be careful to not do the same thing, which is a very admirable thing. The Porsche looks very slow through the corners, so I think Kevin just needs to pick his moment and just gun it.
This could be it here.
Oh, look at this for a move round the outside of 9 into 10. Beautiful. Oh, sorry, 10 into 11, I mean to say. Beautifully done. Is the Porsche going to try and make an answer to that? I don't think he is. I think he's going to concede that position. But well done, Kevin. Nice.
That was a lovely pass.
A very clean
almost
pass.
Reminiscent of a motorcycle pass that. Right around the outside of the first bit of the S-bend to get the inside at the next one. Here's your battle for second place. Vozorik still holding off Riem Wies. But their battle has brought the 4th place 92 Ford into play, and we're actually not too far away from bringing 5th into this battle as well, as we begin to concertina up through turn number 4. Is there a look to the inside at 5? There was a look, but it wasn't quite enough of a lunge. And so that Ford of Bobsrick has to stay patient for at least a couple more corners, although he will be good over the curbs here through the chicane. But getting a move done into the subsequent turn number 8 is pretty brave.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I will say is Bobsrick is doing a fantastic job of just holding off the Hungry Lions behind him, looking for that 2nd place as Wiesenberg just slowly just disappears into the distance. 7 seconds is the gap after 8.5 minutes. He's got the fastest lap by nearly a second, I think it is. 44.7 on the road. Especially in a darkening Hungaroring track, it's a very impressive feat. As Bobsrick's now got to be worried again. He's got 3 cars right behind him. He needs a very good exit out of this final corner if he doesn't want to be dived, as the Mustang goes a bit wide there. Looks like Bobsrick will have to go defensive here, otherwise Remviz will go for the inside, and he's got to go for it by the looks of it.
Telegraphs the move to the right-hand side. Remviz late on the brakes. Does leave the line open on the outside there, look, but Bobsrick with not quite enough traction to contend with that, and if anything, he's going to be under pressure pretty quickly from this Ford that has joined the fray, the Ford that was pretty racy moments ago, but holds station in turn 3. I reckon he's probably thinking about what didn't quite come off last lap into 5.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fantastic battle of cars just picking their moments here. This is what racing's all about. Just sticking with the cars and just picking that moment, picking that little gap that you can spot, that you can exploit. Try and pick your opponents off in the mirrors. Try and do things like that. That's how you race.
Bobsrick's doing a really good job of that. The tight line through 5 will be immensely distracting, particularly with the headlights blaring in the darkness. Remviz is already getting on with this, however. He's found, almost a second to the cars behind him already, since having made the move at the beginning of this same lap.
Yeah, just catching up on the chats for a second. Luke's just calling everyone maniacs. Yep, valid. Giving them the benefit of the doubt, I think that's for the really bad T1 incident. The braking boards for T1 can be read at night. I mean, that's entirely possible, but there's braking a little bit late and just not braking at all, I suppose. Maybe I'm being cynical, but oh well. And then, yeah, go on Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's running a great race so far.
I'm curious to see how James Joyce gets on in this one. Having been demoted down to the back of the field, he's now gotten to put on a performance that, to be honest, is kind of like the opposite of the battle myself and him had back in season 14, where I didn't qualify so well throughout that, and James was a master over 1-lap pace. So it was me trying to chase him down in pretty much every event. Now he's the one doing the chasing, and he's got a good battle up ahead as Mancunian and Kokrakis get tripped over each other. The Greek trying to hold off Mancunian. They are in different classes, and so he'll do well to let Paul go here, I reckon. But no, covers the inside somewhat aggressively in the Mercedes with all that grunt. Surely he's thinking about the cutback, but no, can't quite get that one either. And it put him to the outside, though.
He's going to go side by side into 2. Who's got the bottle?
Boy, that's brave from Mancunian.
That's very wide, but he's going to go for... He's had to abort and fend off James Joyce through the second half of that corner there. I think he's going for the long sweeping cutback there, which is gorgeous if you can make it work. This is a brilliant scrap.
Here we go then. It's worth noting that, of course, it was Mancunian and James Joyce who had that coming together at the very start of the race. As Mancunian gets sideways to the inside, that puts James Joyce to the outside of the chicane. Does he dare hold it? He's going to give it a go. The nose is still in through the left-handed section, and it'll give him the inside for turn number 8. How brave is Mancunian feeling on the outside? The answer is pretty brave. He had his cornflakes this morning as Mancunian rides through the dust being kicked up ahead. James Joyce around the outside as we go into the next section of S-Bends, and it's Joyce who's just about got that one done with a somewhat bestraggled looking BMW.
That was a ridiculous bit of driving from the pair of them. I hope that's Mike giving the headlights there in appreciation. Although I did see Joyce did leave the track there, and then he did break track limits there, so maybe questionable, but otherwise that was some fantastic racing by the pair of them, giving each other the respect to go side by side through a very tricky section of track. As look at this, Deset is going to overtake Criddle for P13. This is for class position, but Criddle's got the inside for the corner. It's going to try and hang the Ferrari out to try on the outside. Can he get the better run?
That McLaren not known for its braking performance or its slow speed traction, to be honest, but Chris Criddle's doing a good job of trying to hold on to what is P3 in the rookie classification, with Cockeriss getting up the inside as well. That's aggressive, hard, but arguably fair. And Criddle loses 2 places instead of gaining the one he lost back.
That was a brilliant bit of driving from Cockeriss to spot that gap and exploit it. Granted, I don't think they made contact, which makes it even better, but all's fair in love and war, as they say. Let's look at James Joyce trying to force his way past the rookie driver of Criddle, going to the grass there, trying to recreate him versus Mike last lap. Going side by side through this.
Let's be honest, should really have a Rookie Wednesdays title by now. He was remarkably unlucky with, I think, some connection issues in Season 15. Yeah. In Season 14, he finished just 19 points off the championship lead, having got a penalty in the double points final round, which certainly didn't help his case. So we know how quick he is, but already this one isn't off to the start he would have been hoping for.
Yeah, I think he's going to do well to get back into the fight with the top runners, but if he goes for an earlier pit stop here and fixes his damage and just goes for an absolute tear of a stint, he might be able to do it. I don't see why he couldn't.
I don't think top 5 will be out of reach for him here, at least, because we know how good he is on race pace. If he can find himself a bit of clear track, then he will just be quicker than anybody else. And I wonder if he's beginning to think, can I go long, or do I try and undercut? Because being in all this traffic is what's really holding him up, as we look at James Joyce on screen now. He's, as we speak, in that traffic. Next up on his hit list is going to be Colin Criddle for 15th overall, but no more points, as these two are still in different classes. The one salvation that the rest of the field might have is that Jasper Wiesenberg has begun to hit traffic out front. He's not encountering it in every single corner quite yet, but there's been a couple of those back markers involved in early strife. He's caught them, and he's catching them at awkward points as well, as the 72, I think, has gone round James Joyce round the outside. Surely not.
If you pull this off, but as Criddle goes deep, he goes deep, you have to go off track there. He's going to have to concede that position. Joyce, that was my hat off to you, good sir. That was fantastic. You forced the car ahead into a mistake with that fantastic move. Brilliantly done. And Mike
That's
also
2
goes through
great
as well.
moves we've seen in a row from him.
Yeah. He is a great driver.
James Joyce making it work for him then. And this is Vazaric, was running second, now running third. And to the inside goes Bobrzik, who wants to get it done at turn number 1 for the overall and, of course, AM-class podium, of course. The Ford we would expect to have the grunt out the corner compared to the Ferrari, and it just about does. Exiting turn number 1, it is going to be the 92 up onto the rostrum, at least for now. But there's a couple of cars in this following group that are setting really competitive lap times. I'm looking particularly at Matusz Pokorny. He did a 45.3 last time round, which made him the 3rd fastest driver on the track. Full stop. So keep an eye on the 329 Lamborghini. He's slowly bringing himself into the podium battle here. Yeah, absolutely. And Parkins is a great driver as he drives for our Toga Academy. He is very, very good. And his fastest lap of the race is a 1:45.1 as well. So he's not too shabby in terms of overall fastest lap. The fastest lap that's been done is a 44.2 by none other than your race leader, which is no surprise to anyone at this point. As he is just gone. He's 11 seconds off the road already. Yeah, as Matt Pokorny is only half a second off the top 5 overall and in class. So he will be itching to make that happen over the course of the next 62 minutes. As Krotov, number 710, is under pressure from, is that for Diego Moreno? It is going to be Moreno.
It's not for class position, but remember, it may be technically multi-class in terms of driver pace splits, but you do not have to go out of the way. You can fight for it even if you're not in the same class, just for bragging rights, I suppose. You're not required to go out of the way, but it's determined that if you're in the AM class, you're probably faster and will get past at some point. So that's generally how it'll work.
And Diego Moreno, he's got plenty of experience here in the Rookie Wednesdays Championship, so he'll know when to pull the move, when is the safe spot. He's got already 10 seconds to the next car ahead of him once he's made this pass, so he won't be in any rush to get it done, but it may happen right now, in fact, as to the inside Moreno goes. That's a pretty textbook maneuver, actually. That's a solid pass on the brakes into one, and he's got the drive out to make it stick.
Yeah, one thing the McLaren can be good at is mid-corner speed. Oh, as Krotov goes wide there. The McLaren's very good at mid-corner speed, so if you can carry enough speed through T1, the McLaren can live with it and will propel you down down towards T2. It can be well in the good. Finn, the fastest lap time is a 44.2. Average lap time is looked to be about a low 45, as Weissenberg is just really quick. Yeah, you're sort of looking low to mid 45s for kind of like the average lap time for at least the top 15. And then there's obviously the cars behind here, maybe not as quick. As we do have a 991 on the track in Mr. Ben Beams, who's just lost a place down into P19. He's still running 6th in class in what's considered an ancient car in this game. So all the power to you, my guy, but I'm surprised anyone is still driving it.
Alexander Molin's up to the back of him in something a bit more technologically advanced. That McLaren Evo, of course, having had a relatively recent update. That McLaren, by the way, unrestricted, which it won't be with the balanced performance, but unrestricted, it can produce 740 brake horsepower, and it only weighs a little over a ton. I mean, it's properly quick.
Absolutely, as we have our first pit stop from mid-race, and that is Kevin Bakiri. As there's been a crash. Oh no, it's Beams and Molins. What's happening with you two? We click away for 2 seconds and a crash happens. Oh,
it's down into the corner we were talking about, turn 12.
The McLaren just brakes way too late.
That's uncharacteristic from Alexander Molins. He's been around for a little while and normally makes those kind of moves stick, but this time air under braking that I think forced him to try the move, and it was never really on. Beams and Molins are still circulating, which is good to see, but I think their cars will feel a touch more second-hand than they did a lap ago.
Yeah, as the top 5 are now starting to thin a little bit. The gap from P1 to 2 is 13 seconds now, but this is a couple of seconds with each car. And then of this battle for P5, I'm not even going to... Oh, it's a bite marker's just hit Picorni! Oh, that's really, really poor. I see Picorni was looking for a move on the BMW and just has now had to drop back a little bit. That is poor from that bite marker, whoever that was. Who is that?
That looked to me like the McLaren didn't realise there was 2 cars trying to come past. Thought it was just the one. It is going to be right in the number 7 McLaren involved in that one. As we come back to what is the battle for 5th still, Vacikovskis trying to fend off Matusz Picorni.
I'm not even trying.
I might not try that name again later on.
I'm not, out of respect, I'm not trying the name because I will completely destroy it.
What do you think about this battle, Lamborghini versus BMW? They're going to be 2 very different cars.
Yeah, I think I love the Lambo, but it's been bopped into the ground, so it's not as competitive anymore. But if you can get it right, that Lambo can be very, very quick, because it's a mid-engine car. It's like the McLaren. It's very pointy, and on a track like this, you want I prefer a pointy car on this kind of track. Because it's tight, it's technical. You need that. You need to be able to get the rotation in, and that's why I specifically love the Porsche here, because you can really throw that car around, and it will live with it if you've got it set up right. And the Lambo's the same, but obviously it's mid-engine, so it's not quite as far back. But it's similar principles apply.
that Lamborghini as well, slightly more stable in high-speed entries, which means if people are thinking about giving a mid-engine car a go, it's often that high-speed entry that becomes a bit of a factor, as we see Pateron shaping up to the move for 5th position into turn 12 once again. That's where he thought about it last lap. It wasn't quite on, and not to the inside of 13 either, so we'll have to wait until the pit straight for this one, unless he pulls off some sort of miracle into the final corner. But that Lamborghini, as we say, it's a good mid-engine car, and it does allow you to do things like this. Fantastic move from Matt Pateron. What can the BMW do coming out of the corner, however? Because McCorney was in hot, and here comes Vasikoskis attempting to get that BMW back alongside. Pateron defensive against the pit wall, Michael Schumacher style, so it'll be the outside for the BMW that's technically all the way back up into 5th position, but he's deep at turn number 1, and that should be job done now for Matt Pateron, despite a scare.
Yeah, he was sideways through the last corner there near the exit, so I thought the BMW was going to make that happen, but wow, brilliant stuff from the pair of them. Giving each other the room and respect, which is what you love to see. Brilliant battling. What I will say is despite the incidents that are occurring all over the track, the racing has been fantastic so far.
And we've not yet had the strategy come into this either. James Joyce got Corsa quite close to the back of him here, actually, is James Joyce. I would have expected him to pull clear of this Ferrari a little easier than he has done.
It looks like Corsa hasn't got his headlights on. Or maybe he does, and they're just, the Ferraris ones are that pert, there's no reflection. I don't know if you noticed
either that or they've been punched out in one of the incidents. Corsa was involved in a couple of argy-bargy moments earlier on.
That's probably what it is, actually, you know.
So he's got stealth mode engaged, just Corsa in his goal to get back past James Joyce. This is on the edge of the top 10. Maheswara fending off Warren and Nick Liucci, who's going to have the inside here, Nick Liucci, coming up towards a pretty quick section of the circuit, actually. Next is going to be turn number 11 through the right-hander. And Liucci not quite close enough to get that Ferrari to the inside of 12, where we know it's strong. He is getting it going. What happened there for James Joyce? Contact.
I think Corsa has hit him. I didn't get the full incident there, but it looked like he was spun around by the Ferrari. That will be obviously left up to the stewards to deal with. But James Joyce not having the best of luck at the moment.
He is not at all. He's got a penalty to come his way as well. Come the pit stops, he's got 20 seconds.
Apologies for shouting over you there. Oh, but look at this. The Mustang sizing up a move here. He's got to send it. Can he get that
Warren to the inside
stopped? He can. Fantastic move. Hayden,
I wonder if
you're watching, that's how you send a move into turn 1 of Hungaroring. just for future reference.
Bit of history there, is there, Barry?
A little bit. On the same race that I was talking about earlier, where I was hit into T12 and T13, a certain Mr. Hayden Sweet may have dive bombed me at T1 from about 3 postcodes back. And it didn't end well. And I will admit I was in quite a bad mood already from my earlier incidents. So he got both barrels from me after the race. He'll know what I'm talking about. I give him stick about it every now and then.
When he runs Toga Motorsport, there's only so much we can do, right? Because we can just get kicked. This is the problem. Abuse of power. That's going to be the problem for Maiden. He can send whoever he likes. He's sorted.
Well, the thing is,
he's a nice guy. He would never, but
nah, he obviously didn't do it on purpose. But like, I was really annoyed at getting spun around a couple of times. Yeah, he didn't get it lightly for me. Let's put it that way.
If you are.
Sorry, I'm
just joining us.
I'm just reading the TikTok chat. Is this on Twitch too? It should have been on Twitch, but Twitch has decided it doesn't want to run our stream. Don't know why. It's on TikTok and YouTube at the moment only. I don't ask me why. I don't know. It just didn't work. The game is Assetto Corsa Competizione, by the way, for anyone who is not sure. Oliver, is that you, Ollie Upton? I hope so. And why are you not racing? Nighttime races, what have I missed? I think Hayden's just shaking up a little bit. There's also no mandatory pit stop in this race, so people pit when they feel like it. And that lets some different strategies play out, or no strategy. Don't pit at all, if you can make it to the end. I wonder
Speaking
to see
of which,
who's going to try that.
Well, James Joyce has just come in, following his second, or possibly third major contact, actually. So that will drop him down the order, but it does mean that when he comes back out with under an hour on the clock, he can run to the finish. And this is what we were talking about at the start. If you get damage, you either had to come in for an extra stop or drive with damage for a long time before you made it to that mandatory pit window in seasons gone by. Now, if you can fill up the tank and get to the finish, come in and fix it as soon as you like, and that's something that might play into James Joyce's hand, although I think our previous expectation of him recovering to the top 5 could be out of the window.
Yeah, it would need a slight miracle, I think. As there's I'm going to start reading off penalties because there's an absolute mountain of them come in, and I think it's good if we talk about this. There's been nothing put in the penalty outcomes channel. These stewards, I swear, can't get the staff these days. It's quite funny because Hayden is doing the stewarding as well. I love just taking the hand in it. It's fun. I'm just going to go to the actual stewarding spreadsheet and just go read that. That will help.
Whilst you get that up, our next battle, I think, towards the head of the field that we'll have an eye on is Pateron, actually, because he's about 1.6, 1.5 seconds off the back of Vozaric for 4th position, but he's still lapping significantly quicker than the cars around him. He did a 45.7 last time around compared to a 46.8 and a 47.4 for the two just up the road. So Matt Pateron absolutely flying in that Lamborghini, playing the opening of the race pretty cool, but now he's getting on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was the car that had the 60 seconds of penalties? I'm curious to know. That's not car number 7. I'm bleeding my curiosity here.
For academic purposes, yes.
Both of his penalties came from heavy lap 1 incidents, is why it's at 60 seconds. Because I will point out to everyone who doesn't know this, here at Toga, all penalties on lap 1 are doubled. So if you get a 20-second penalty on lap 1, it's actually going to be 40. This is to discourage any shenanigans on lap 1, which doesn't seem to be effective in Rookie Wednesdays anyway. But we're going to keep doing it. Because if you do something dumb, you get penalised for it.
And having raced in Rookie Wednesdays recently myself, I do think it works. I mean, I was not known for being a particularly good qualifier, but you were discouraged from doing anything on lap 1 out of the ordinary, and then instead trying to pick them off as Radica in the 380 finds a sideways moment through the penultimate corner, just about gathers it up before hitting the wall, but will drop a couple of positions as a result. At least 3, I think. Who was that just coming by? Karikis? So yeah,
he's lost 2. The last one there was car 26, who's a lap down.
That's alright.
But yeah, so on the fringes of the top 10, Lucci's under pressure from Mank in that Mercedes, that big heavy beast. Oliver, what happened to James? He has been murdered a few times. From what we saw, the limit of what we saw, he caused the first incident. Whether that's
allegedly,
whether that's what happened, I didn't see that. I didn't look at the full replay, so I don't know. I didn't see all the angles, but just from the angle we saw, and then he's been murdered at least once. So yeah, he's not having a great one. Luke said he's had over a minute of damage to fix, which is nice.
That's pretty significant. A minute of damage. I mean, this is a short lap, 1 minute 45. So you add on the minute of damage to a standard pit stop. That's a lap by the time you've come in and out.
Yeah, because a standard pit stop for fuel tires and coming back out is about a minute anyway.
Yeah.
Hang on. Race control will tell me. It will tell me people's pit stop time. Nobody's on a standard pit stop yet. Every pit stop's been for heavy damage. So someone did a minute in the pit lane, and that was a 50-second stop. So about like a minute or so you're gonna lose at the very least on a standard pit stop, and then with damage on top of that. is not going to be good. As per Voserick,
Longest.
it's just fallen down the order a little bit. He's running very well in second, and he's now potentially going to fall down to fifth here, as Pateron is just stormed up to the background there, getting past that black marker very, very quickly and promptly.
He found a good lap in qualifying, did Voserick. Started second, but as you mentioned, hasn't really found pace in the race so far. Did a good job, let's not forget, of holding off Rian Viz for a long time, but in doing so, the battle brought the rest of the field onto his tail, and you fear that it was somewhat delaying the inevitable, and it may be the same here with Pateron, having caught him so quickly with a sideways moment through one of the fastest points on this circuit. Means that he's not quite close enough into his favourite overtaking spot at turn 12.
Yeah. Oliver, I remember racing James, I know he's not the problem, he's a clean driver. Yeah, he generally is, but I think one of them was his fault from what I saw. I'm actually going to go look, because he did get a penalty. I'm going to read it. Okay. But he's number 25, isn't he?
James Joyce running 25, yes.
Oh, he had a lap 1 contact.
That'll be the one with
was that
the
one with
Mercedes.
It was, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was lap 1, yeah. Sorry, my bad. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, because from that angle I thought it was his fault, but then he was murdered by another car. At least once that we saw.
Yes. He got a little too close to the rather large Mercedes that was parked on the inside of the quick downhill turn number 3. And at that corner, any sort of instability, even if your tyres are hot, is often going to result in a spin, let alone on lap number 1 with the entire field storming down upon you as well. So that was where it all begun to go wrong for James Joyce, because it dropped him from, what would you say, back end of the top group to properly in the midfield, and then we saw a total melee unfold.
Yeah. Look, being a maniac, yeah, that's true. Stream angle couldn't tell much, to be honest. Yeah, that's why I said take it with a pinch of salt, but that angle from what we saw... why is there a pit window? There shouldn't be. Hey, any drivers who are listening, don't worry about the pit window. There's no actual mandatory stop. I don't know why that's still in there. Need to see it from above, see if there's a car's width on the inside. Yeah, honestly, look, we don't know, but the stewards will have looked at it and seen, so user feel free to appeal it after the race if you feel it's unjust. And if it is overturned, the time will be given back. Simple as. As a couple of pit stops, P2 and P5 are in the pit lane. Somebody else from the top group is pitted as well. Did the Mustang pit? Yeah, the Mustang is pit.
It did indeed.
And Remviz from P2 is pit. Wiesenberg's kept going. Voserick and Pateron are still going at it. Technically now for P2, but it's going to be net around P4 overall. After all the pit stops shake out.
I reckon that was probably a good call from the two that did come in, Remviz and Bobrizik, because this whole group was about to come up on a rather large amount of traffic over the next lap or two, and they managed to avoid all of that. Cormy could have done with coming in, because if anything, it would have allowed him to try and get an undercut here on Voserick, who we know is a pretty capable defender around Hungaroring, and it's proving to be difficult to pass him once again.
Yep, he's done a great job defending Pateron, and Pateron, you can clearly tell, is a little bit faster than him, because he's got the speed, he just can't quite find the angle to go for an overtake. And he's doing the sensible thing of hanging back to find that angle. Currently not able to do so, as Jasper Wiesenberg, the leader, is in the pit lane. Which is going to knock these two up to 1 and 2 respectively for now. Once they go past. Remember, the mandatory pit stop doesn't matter. Do you reckon I can make a return to Rookie Wednesdays? I missed the somewhat good racing. As long as you're not too fast, yes, you can make a return. I know you're quick, Ollie, so I don't honestly know if you'd be too fast or not. You might be. For reference,
Those who are
Oliver in
listening,
the Twitch stream, I believe that's Ollie Upton, who is part of our Toga Racing Academy. It is. Just checking. Yeah, so essentially a Toga, and well, I'm the best person to talk about this because I run the damn team. So we have an esports and academy teams that I manage. So Hayden and Dex do the main server side, which is like these races, and I do the team side, which is running events under the Toga Esports banner. And Oliver Upton is one of our academy drivers, as is Matt Picorni, who is in the Lamborghini currently chasing down the Ferrari. I've just been a bad team manager, and not having the livery ready is not great for me. But yeah, it's pretty cool to just have drivers in a team that are going out there and doing good racing.
Ollie Upton in particular, I mean, quick and clean
driver.
Really quick driver. He was last here in season 14, I believe, where his results 3rd, 7th, because there was issues outside of his control, 5th, despite issues outside of his control at Zandvoort, and then 2nd in the final round of the championship.
Yeah.
He is really quick.
Yeah, and then there was, I think it was the season before, where he was like, I think he either won it or was 2nd in the championship overall in the Porsche. I can't remember which one it was, but he was up there at the top nearly.
Yes, season 13 rookie class champion, that season 14 in the AM class.
Oh yes, because season 13 he dominated. Him and was it Ethan Poulsen? They both cakewalked the rookie championship. The pair of them were just unstoppable in their Porsches. They were fantastic to watch. And then they both joined the Toga Esports team, which is pretty cool.
Yes, straight away, nabbed up. No chance of anybody else finding that talent. Picorni has now come in, by the way. We said he should try the undercut. He has eventually agreed with us. And of course, we're now 40 minutes into our 80-minute race, which means we're reaching the halfway distance. And I'll give you a quick rundown of your order. Of course, you've got the time screen right there. But at the top, it is now Vozarek, who has inherited the lead as others have come into pit. Then it's Vesicaucus in the 35 BMW, and Sherlock completes your top 3 in the AM class. 4th in the AM class is Diego Moreno, and 5th at the moment is Paul Mancunian, despite being 7th overall. The reason for that is because your rookie class leader is Jared Warren, in the 28 Ford, followed by Anatoly Krotov in the 710, and Karikis completes your rookie podium as it stands at half distance. Of course, we still got pit stops, and we've still got a long way into the night to go. It'll be beyond 9 p.m. at local time when we get to the end of this one. So, well, Hungaroring is tricky enough in the daytime when you can see your braking markers and the curbs and the other cars, but not everybody has headlights, and you definitely can't see the braking markers.
I've just noticed something. Wiesenberg was stopped in the pit lane for nearly 3 minutes.
That is a long stop. That would imply about 2 minutes worth of damage, which...
But he had none.
Unless he had contact on his in-lap, is a lot.
But I don't think he did.
The only other option you can think of would be some sort of hardware or issue, or of course a human error in there somewhere, but it is possible that the wheel disconnected. Yep. Had to go to the door, postman arrived, that sort of situation, but that will drop him way down the order. Where does it put him relative to James Joyce will be my immediate question, because they're next to each other on the timing screen. Are they near each other on track? Because that's the battle everybody wants to see.
James Joyce is 3.9 behind him. And they are both in heavy traffic.
Wiesenberg trying to carve through it, but it's so difficult because if he brakes late on the entry, he'll compromise his exit and get pretty close to the back of what is the next battling pair just up ahead of him. They are going to be on all sorts of different laps as well. Who's this? This is Picorni and Criddle. Picorni having just stopped, of course, but he's on the outside into turn 1. Fresher tires. He'll get that one done. Unless Criddle can do something magic on the exit. No, he cannot. How is Wiesenberg handling all this? I think he's that set of lights towards what is going to become the outside of turn number 2.
He's on the inside.
As we brake hard into the corner. no, he was on the inside, so he's all right there. He's got that one sorted. Criddle staying nice and clean. And in the background, you'll see that blue and yellow BMW of James Joyce getting ever closer to former race leader and, of course, pole sitter Jasper Wiesenberg.
Yep. So something happens to Jasper. We don't know what it is. We don't know. It could have been somebody at the door, or need to go to the bathroom. It's entirely possible. And he's fallen all the way down to 20th, so he's now no longer race leader. As Picorni's off.
Picorni's gone round.
Has he spun it?
How did this happen? He's on the power coming out the corner. He's ended up on the inside, which is a rather unusual spot to be at, but then he's a touch deep into the chicane, and door-to-door contact there will often do that to a car, particularly a mid-engine one. We were speaking about the upsides of the Lamborghini earlier. There is a downside every now and again, and that's allowed Bobzik to come out of the pits ahead of him. It's also allowed Criddle to get back past him, of course, having spent all that effort to get the move done at turn 1 a lap ago.
Yeah, I will say though, the only good saving grace for Pockets is it was only a minor contact and a minor spin, so the car is okay. He just needs to get back in the groove. As the new rookie leader is Krutov, as Warren and Karikis are in the pit lane. And I will say, after all this shakes out, it looks like Picorni is going to be 6th in class. Has any of them leaders got to pit yet? Well,
Vozaric has yet to come in, Moreno yet to stop.
And Krutov. So I'll tell you, what it looks like is Picorni is going to be P4 in class. Once all the pit stops
dark
shake
horse.
out. He's going to be a dark horse for the podium here, because he's only 3 and a bit seconds off Bobzik as well, who I think he was faster than during the races. Criddle's in the pits as well now. Some more of these pit stops are happening as James Joyce, as Alex Rose has come out in between James Joyce and Wiesenberg, so Joyce needs to dispatch that Porsche first without making contact would be preferred, James. Just saying.
That was James not hanging about, was it? Absolutely ruthless to the inside. He was getting that one done whether he wanted the defense or not. So
Joyce is off.
Where's he gone off? He got the move done immediately. He got it done and was straight into the wall. That is astonishing. Is this another disconnection issue possibly from James Joyce? Because that is incredibly uncharacteristic.
Or a hardware failure. Look, the throttle's still going.
His game's crashed.
Yeah.
That's the report we're getting on the YouTube chat. Game has crashed. Yet another technical issue for James Joyce. He was runner-up in Season 14. Season 15 was destroyed by technical issues, and he's got the same problem in round 1 of Season 16. He doesn't get any luck, and if it does come along, it's always bad.
Oh, that's awful. Lucas retired due to connection issues. Shit happens, man. Don't worry about it. Apologies for the swearing. Pro went for a turn. It's yeah. This has been an interesting race, to say the least.
It's been an eventful one, hasn't it? We were talking just a moment ago about Mateusz Picorni. I wonder if he's possibly even an outside shout for the win here, because on fresh tyres, he's going a little bit quicker than the cars ahead of him. We saw that as the fuel came out.
I've just seen he's going so much faster than everyone ahead of him. If he can carve out enough time here, he could be in for a shout.
Oh, I tell you what, he's picked up the pace on that lap, you're right. 45.8 for him last time around, 48.8 for Bobzik, who must have had an issue, but this looks like a matter of when, not if now for Picorni. For reference, 45.8 for Picorni ahead of him, 48, 45.7, 49, 47, 47. He is by far and away the fastest driver on this track, and we know that he builds into the stint because we saw it in the first 40 minutes of this race. The 329 Lamborghini is on a charge on his return to the championship. When's the last time we saw Picorni in Rookie Wednesdays? Was it season 11? Season 12? It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, because I know he's in a lot of stuff IRL on, so he hasn't been racing as much, so he's finally getting back to it. Let's look at the exit he's got out of that last corner as well. I know the Mustang has the grunt, but he will have the slipstream, and if he can get pick a good braking point, or force his opponent into a mistake here, just get that Lambo turned and you can do something here, Pockets. Look at this, he's gonna make this Mustang work for it.
He's looking to the outside, isn't he? Which is always going to be about getting the exit here down into turn number 3 as you get into what feels like a bit of a guttering almost as you come down the hill around what used to be a water spring actually there. Quick through 4 and up towards turn number 5. It would be bold to look to the inside there, but we know this Lamborghini gets great rotation, which will give him great traction out of 5. Looking at the chicane into 6 and 7, he fills the mirrors full of Raging Bull, but can't quite get the pass done. Do you know where I think this is coming, Barry? It's got to be at turn number 12. He loves that corner.
Yep, if he can keep the medium speed up through. Oh, hang on, it might be sooner than that. Look at that. He got such a the run he's getting through this section is fantastic.
That's turn 11. Next up is turn 12. He's going to get a pretty decent dose of slipstream as the Mustang defends the inside. And so around the outside looks Pateron. You'll never get that done. He's going to put pressure on again into the penultimate corner. He'll dive it deep on the brakes. You'll be doing well to get this one done into the penultimate corner, but we have seen it already in this race from a Lamborghini. And so he has a little think, but he's not close enough. And the obvious opportunity now, Barry, I'll let you take it away. Turn number 1's coming up.
Yeah, the only problem is the Mustang has so much grunt. It's so hard to get past the Mustang on the end of a straight. As you see, he just pulls out enough of a gap to just hold off. But you see through sectors 2 and 3 how close Pockets gets to that rear wing, and he's just able to stick there, even in like the air wash behind the Mustang, because the Mustang's a big car, so the air wash is quite large. You can just see how better that Lamborghini can rotate through the corners. You even see it through 3. How nimble it looks.
Bob Rosick, in the first stint, didn't seem as troubled as this, it's worth noting as well. He seems to have become a touch unsettled, down into the 46s now, with his best lap a low 45, which is going to be a problem for him if his pace continues to drop off like this towards the end of the race. Huge amount of curve from the Lamborghini, and yet it looks as if he's got great drive out of the chicane, and we're going to play this game once again. Here is turn number 8, straight away into 9 as we swoop across to the right. The momentum building all the time for Pateron. We saw how quick he was at 10. Now he's got the opportunity to take the racing line through 11 as he flows it into the right. Quick step on the brakes to get the nose in and fires it back out the other side. Moves to the inside at 12. Not quite close enough. These two, by the way, not too far away from Riem Wies, for example, who's a touch up the road. To the outside looks Matt Pateron once again. He's obviously strong on the brakes in these last couple of corners, but it's so hard to do anything with that, apart from set up a slingshot, whereas you touched on it, the Ford is so good.
Yeah, you see he had to brake a little bit extra mid-corner. In the last corner, he had so much momentum compared to the Ford. He actually had to check up before he hit him. That's just how much better the Lamborghini is in the mid-corner, like the medium corner speed. It can just carry so much through it. Then the Ford is so good in the straights, but the only good thing it has in the corners is how big it is. You can just see how much that Lambo is struggling to find a point to get past. It's a brilliant
the Ford, by
battle.
the way, 5.4 litre naturally aspirated V8. That's why it's so quick on the straights. Unrestricted, about 550 Newton meters of torque. For people who don't know Newton meters in torque and so on, that's a lot of Newton meters coming from the horses. Look how Marius, I can see, trying to vote for driver of the day, and I suppose about halfway through the race, in fact a little bit more than that. Let's go and look at what that actually is for driver of the day. You're going to use exclamation mark, vote, space, and then the driver you want. So if you're looking to vote for Matt Pateron, who we're looking at right now, it'd be exclamation mark, vote, space, 329. And that would give you a vote that way. And I tell you what, at the moment he deserves it, and his race could yet get better.
There we go. I have voted for Matt Pateron.
Absolutely no bias at all for you, is there, Barry?
Oh,
Totally impartial voting
not even
system.
the fact that he's driving for Toga, he's just driving fantastically. Cannot fault his driving currently, he's doing a brilliant job. Oh, the Mustang goes
One
deep.
car we've not talked about.
Hang on a second. Oh, look
This
how
is going
close
to be
he
a
is.
pretty...
Oh,
I reckon this could be a graphic representation of how quick that Ford Mustang is on the
look.
straights. Look at it haul out the gap. It's a car length. It's almost 2 car lengths by the end of the straight. Stamp on the brakes, trail brake in, and absolutely nothing Matusz can do about that. He's now going to have to try and set it up all over again. Is it me, or is turn 12 the only real opportunity here? Because it's a hard braking zone that comes after some quick corners. Turn 1 clearly isn't on.
Yeah, I'd say it's good to be in that second sector, or turn 12 is his best options. Because 13 and 14, going too wide through there. Oh my god, it's sideways through T4. Oh, look how close he's getting through just T5 there alone. You saw that. Just how quickly he can close that gap.
Oh, I thought he was going to look into the chicane there, but of course door-to-door contact for him just about 10 minutes ago or so made him back out of that one, and he's looking ever more impatient, I think, here. Into 8, into 9. Wide goes the Mustang. Through goes Matt Pateron. At long last, he's got clean road. Now he needs to get a good couple of car lengths into this before the straight comes along, because we know he'll be under pressure at the end of it. And already he's doing that. Pedal to the metal. Pateron into 5th position. What's the gap ahead of him? It's almost 8 seconds before he finds 4th. He has spent so long behind Bob Brzyk. That has compromised the rest of his race.
It has, and I think the win may be out of the question now, because for the win he's currently racing Remviz and probably Vozeric as well. When he does pit and come out of the pits, he will probably be around the same place. So he's well in the game for a podium here, overall and in class, of course. So he's not out of it. But I think it's going to be a bit harder.
At the moment, it is going to be difficult. And you're right, Vozeric will come into play here, because Remviz, 58 seconds to the leader. That's within undercut range. We're talking about a minute for a stop.
Yeah.
Pateron, minute and 5 seconds. He needs to get on with this now so that he doesn't end up behind someone who we know is good at defending. So this is put the rubber on the track and try and undercut for P2. And if you end up getting towards the lead, great. You got 25 minutes to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. The only problem is the longer these guys wait to pit, the more this favours Matt, because they're running out of rubber. He's got more rubber to burn right now, so he can just put the foot to the floor. Yes, when them guys do pit, they will have fresh tyres, but will the gap Matt's created here be too much for that? Because he's already took 2 seconds off Remviz in this lap. He is flying around the track. He's actually took half a second off Vozeric as well, from what I can tell on race control here. So he is absolutely flying. He's going to be one to watch.
I'm really impressed with this. Really impressed with this. Just checking in with the rookie class, it's worth noting that your current top 3 there also haven't stopped. So Anatoly Krotov, Uncle One, and of course Ben Beams, all yet to take a stop. That means that your probable rookie leader is still Warren in that Ford. It's currently sitting 14th in the overall order.
It's going to be Krotov, Warren, and Cradle are probably going to be the top 3. I think because Krotov's so far ahead. Maybe not, actually. Hang on, I'm just looking at the times. It's going to be close, I think. But I think Krotov is not out of the question, despite having to pit. As if you have a look here, Uncle One is looking at putting a move on Jacob Dobson here. The Porsche fantastic on the brakes, rotation, and acceleration. So let's see what it can do here. Look at that, brilliant move. What the Porsche lacks in is top speed, or after you hit about mid speed, its acceleration is gone. It's not got the top end.
But around here, it's all about the traction, isn't it? You've got a long corner onto the pitch straight. You've got a long corner before you run to turn 12. And of course, you exit turn 2. That's the speed you're going to take through 3 into 4. So it's all about these slow to medium speed traction zones, which the Porsche, if you've got the confidence in it, it has got the traction on just about anything else. The problem is confidence for a lot of drivers.
Yes. One of my most favorite. Sorry, that's not English. One of my favorite combinations in this game is the 992 around Red Bull Ring, because turn 2, turn 3, whatever you want to call it, is the best overtaking opportunity. But if you're confident in the Porsche, nobody's getting past you, because if you go under braking into turn 2/3, you just walk away from the exit of that corner, and no car can compete with it, really, unless they're just a much better driver. Then of course, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like in general, I think it's got such good traction and low speed, and then the acceleration that complements that on top of that is just fantastic. It makes it so much fun to drive.
I will always remember, Red Bull Ring season 14, the day, in fact 2 days before the final race, myself, James Joyce, Oliver Upton and Ethan Poulsen all still in the hunt for that overall championship. And we all ended up nose to tail in a train of 4 practicing together around Red Bull Ring. Ethan Poulsen and that Porsche just checking out every single time from turn 3. And then fair enough, there was Lexus, Aston Martin, Ford Mustang, all in that group. So we catch at the back end of the straight, but the traction was something else.
Yeah, like if you in the Porsche at Red Bull Ring, if you can hold them behind through turn 1, even if they get a run up towards turn 2, turn 2/turn 3, depending on which side of that corner you fall on.
The second true corner.
Yes. Then if you can keep them relatively behind, then they're not getting past you, unless they are like a really, really good driver. Luke Wilson knows that all too well. Me and him had a 50-minute battle for the lead at Red Bull Ring. I was in the Porsche, he was in the McLaren, and I just spent the entire race.
Stressful.
Well, he was on my bumper the entire time, and he couldn't get past.
That's probably what Oliver Upton remembers of the season 14 race, actually, at Red Bull Ring. He had James Joyce on him for at least 20 minutes at the start of it, if not half an hour.
I'm waiting for Luke's comment of me bringing this up again. Because it's probably my best drive in the game, was that race. One of my favourite races. Sam Waitley, can't wait to be back next week. Always been a good race. It's been a race of 2 faces, shall we say? Is that even a saying? I don't know. I'm coining it.
No, but we can coin it.
I'm coining it as one. Let's go. Do you know what? Let's just do it. It's been standard Wreckfest Wednesday kind of vibes, on top of some fantastic racing as well. There's been some brilliant overtakes. Hayden, you're gonna love the content.
The number of Instagram Reels and TikToks we're going to get out of this race is high. It's significant, so keep an eye out on those social channels. I particularly enjoy the Instagram, actually, everything going up. So if you're not following Toga Motorsport on Instagram and on TikTok, I hugely recommend you go get it. TikTok's great because you get the live stream races and you get all of the social media content as well. So definitely go and give a follow over there. If you are listening on TikTok, Driver of the Day vote still very much open. ! Vote space and then the number of the car that you want to vote for. So if you want to vote for Uncle One on screen, it'd be ! Vote space 111. That would register your vote. It is active on YouTube. It is not active on TikTok. So you'll have to come over to the YouTube and subscribe to register your vote. It would normally be active on Twitch as well, of course.
The vote's not working at all, by the way. I think I've messed something up. We can't blame Hayden for this one. I think it's a blame Barry situation this time, unfortunately. I will take
blame Barry's got a better ring to it. I like that.
I don't like it.
It can never be blame Tom, unless your name is Kara Sanroll and the track is Zanvor, at which point you can blame me.
Right, I want to do manual driver of the day voting on a whiteboard. Bear with me 2 seconds. So
I'll
we've
leave
got-
you to count that.
Yeah, I'm
We
gonna do
can
that.
right off board with Panos Koritzkis, who has Jasper Wiesenberg up to the back of him, and alongside the back of him for just a moment, as Panos got all sorts of out of shape in the 47 Ferrari. Wiesenberg, of course, recovering after that 3-minute stop. We don't know why that was. Everything in game seems to be okay, and he is now racing once again. So we hope everything in real life is okay, but Wiesenberg has made that move on Karikis and moves up into 17th overall. Of course, he'll be a little bit higher than that in the class positions, and he'll get a bonus 2 points for having the fastest lap of the race, because it doesn't seem like anybody's getting particularly close to beating that 1:44.290, even as the fuel comes out towards the back half of this second stint.
Yep, and so I've done the driver of the day calculations, and Matt Corney is winning by a landslide. He has 5
What do we got?
votes.
Run us through it.
So 5 votes for car 329 is Matt Corney. We have 1 vote for car 69, which is that Ben Beams? I think it is. And then we've got 1 vote for car 326, which is Sherlock in P7. So get your votes in. Just try and write the command, and I will keep an eye on them coming in. I'll just write them down manually because I've done something wrong. But that's okay because Hayden's normally the one we blame, so we'll take the heat off him for a minute.
I'm waiting for the day it's blamed, Tom. I'm waiting. There will be something eventually. That's it's just a matter of
I will
when.
say taking the heat off Hayden, but it's bloody boiling in this room. It's 24 degrees outside, and this room gets really hot whenever it heats up. So my fan is working overtime.
Is that biggest fan Hayden by any chance? Working overtime? Is that...
2 seconds, just reply to the message.
Yes, at the front, by the way, Vozerick is still your race leader. He's got 42 seconds over the next car, but fret not, because both Vozerick and the next car, actually, Diego Moreno, are yet to stop. They started in the top 5, both of them 2nd and 5th respectively, so they've climbed up the order, but they will drop down it at least a little bit. It's about 1 minute for a pit stop in and out of the pit, so your total time loss. At the moment, that would put Riem Viz to the lead by 4 seconds. Corney would be on the bubble.
I'm going to throw something rogue out here. I think the 3 cars that haven't pit in the top 5 aren't pitting at all.
You think they're going to go all the way to the end? Are they trying that strategy, do you reckon?
I think so. They've gone 65 minutes and they haven't pit. They would be silly to pit now.
Incident for Uncle One on this lap, by the way, but he has managed to get going well. I say that, he's on the grass.
He was just sort of stopped on track. I wonder, was there like a hardware problem there?
That looks like a hardware issue, because if you were having a real life incident,
you'd be in the wall.
Often you'd step to the... He has managed to move the car, and he's into the pits now, so something's not quite right for Uncle One.
Yeah,
do you reckon the Ferrari can end on a single tank?
The Ferrari,
80 minutes is a long way.
The Ferrari, I think, can. Now, the McLaren, I don't think can. So we've got 2 Ferraris and a McLaren, I think, that are trying it.
I don't think the McLaren is going to manage this, because the McLaren's best lap for Diego is a 46.2. His last lap was a 46.6. So there's very little fuel saving going on there, as far as I can tell. His lap time's pretty consistent from start to finish. Well, Vozerick, on the other hand, 3.5 seconds a lap slower than the best lap. That could be fuel saving.
Yeah, although I'm gonna have a look at his HUD. Let's see his inputs, see if he's fuel saving or not. I'm quite curious.
Still on mapping 1.
He doesn't look to be fuel saving. So maybe he just had a small incident.
We'll keep an eye on this next lap, I think is going to be important. There is a bit of traffic, of course, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt, but if it's anything up there, then it would certainly imply fuel saving.
Warren's in the pits.
Jared Warren was our effective leader. He had already stopped at Jared Warren. I'm absolutely sure of that. We'll confirm it on the timing screen.
I wonder, did he miscount fuel or something?
Jared Warren, this is his second time into the pits. He was leading the class at one point as well, so I don't believe he's had a significant other incident that caused an early stop. So it is going to be one to keep an eye on. Where can he get up to, and did he miscount the fuel? Because it wouldn't be the first time we've had that happen on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah, it happens. What I will say is, we need to keep another eye on Matt McCorney. He's closing in on Remviz quite significantly. He's only 3.8 now from him, and last lap was 7/10ths faster. So see how much faster he is this lap, and we'll determine, as the F1 graphic likes to go, the striking distance graphic. You know, that awful looking graphic. I do not like it.
How many laps to striking distance do you reckon? Go on, do the
I'm
maths.
gonna say 4.
4 laps to striking distance. Oh, that requires a faster rate again. We've got traffic up the road. There is a lot of traffic up the road. You could be spot on here, actually.
I reckon
4 laps.
I reckon 4 laps. So Remviz is crossing the line with a 45.4. Pockets with a 45.5. They were almost identical lap times last lap. Okay, so maybe
that pace has dropped off a little bit for Pockets.
I wouldn't say his pace
was running 44s.
He was.
I think he was doing low 45s throughout that first stint is the issue. So compared to the first stint, it's not quite hooked up as well. Having said that, the temperature has dropped significantly. So everybody's tyres will be getting a little bit out of the window, or indeed if they're in the window now, they would have been out of it before. So that's creating a bit of ebb and flow within this race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for a race like this where it's going into the night, you can't keep it in the window the entire time. Well, maybe you can, but it's trickier. If you're just doing it during the day, it's easier. I will say, I've just noticed on the screen, it's 30 minutes to medium rain. Obviously the race won't be going that far, but that's interesting to know.
One for the drivers to keep an eye on, that it is possible, I believe, is something that the eagle-eyed viewers and those who are following the stream back the next morning will be having a little peek at, because there are still 3 rounds of this championship, and they are going to be brilliant. I'm really disappointed that I'm not able to drive this round, because this looks like the perfect calendar for me. Starting at Hungaroring, next week we go to Alton Park, one of my all-time favourite circuits.
Fantastic.
Oh, as we've got one of the 2 cars up on track there.
Was there a...
Ben Beam's involved in something else, and is that Chris Criddle possibly in the McLaren?
I think so, yeah.
47 Ferrari went to the outside early, rejoins just behind. In fact, it might have been a Ferrari in the darkness that I've misspotted as Ben Beams takes a reasonable, albeit touch sluggish line, and into the back of him was the Ferrari.
Oh, and then Ben
and
Beams
there is Chris Criddle.
Yeah. It's initially on the 47 Ferrari, but then the 69 car does take out Criddle. Realistically, he should have sat stationary until the cars had passed. Obviously, it's not what you want to do, but you kind of have to.
You've got no choice. I mean, I remember sitting at Suzuka watching the entire field come past me on lap 3 or 4 as I waited to rejoin on the outside of Spoon, because it's either that or you end your race. Those are the 2 options. So you have to wait for it to an open space.
Exactly. It's happened
to about that schedule, though. Yes. Alton Park next week. Absolutely fantastic. Paul Ricard the week after. Some people will love that. Personally, my favourite track in the entire sim. I love Paul Ricard. I think the racing you get there is brilliant, because every single car has a bit of the track that it is good at, and every single car has a bit of the track it is not very good at. As we see 2 get close together once again, that is going to be, is it Criddle coming back through on Ben Beams? No, it's one of the Lamborghinis. Probably putting a lap on him. Then, final round of the season, double points on the 30th of July. I think maybe my second favourite track on the sim, Misano. What a calendar we have planned.
See, I really like Misano. A lot of people really hate it, but I've learned to love it. Purely because of how hard it is. It's such a difficult
I think
track.
it is a brilliant track. The moves you can get where you just ease up alongside in these curving braking zones, similar to Paul Ricard actually, are incredibly entertaining. And every now and again you get a lunge into the hairpin, which is a hold your breath moment every single time. So make sure you tune in on the 30th of July. And you might as well pick up the other 2 weeks as well. In order to do that, subscribe on the YouTube, follow on the Twitch, or indeed over on the TikTok, and get the socials whilst you're at it as well. This is Ben Beams. He's been involved in plenty of strife throughout the race. Pecormi at the front. Last time around, not on the pace. 47.5 for him means that the gap between himself and Riem Viz has opened up once again. Your race leader, Vozarek, who we think might try and make it to the end. He's only got 7 minutes left. He is still doing 46s into low 47s, and he's got a 40-second gap as Ben Beams and Criddle have yet more contact through the chicane. Beams there, to be fair to him, I reckon he's left a decent amount of space on the inside. Criddle just wanted to touch more.
Yeah. But yeah, the Vozarek, I'm still quite surprised he's able to keep going like this. How has he got the fuel?
He's running it in map 1. He's got the traction control at a standard sort of level. His throttle inputs on acceleration are pretty gentle, it's worth noting. He's not mashing the throttle and expecting the traction control to deal with it, so he's being nice to the tyres, he's being nice to the engine as well. But we're not seeing lift and coast, which is the standard indicator of fuel saving, because it's just about the only way he can do it to any major degree at least.
Unless he's just planning a splash and dash. But I don't see how...
Splash and dash at the moment...
that would drop him to behind pockets.
He would be fourth on the road, third possibly come the flag if Moreno does the same, which we think he will. That seems like a, what would you say, a misstep on the strategy, because he'll have run all of this race on a single set of tyres, which cannot be feeling very nice as we get towards 9:20 in the evening.
No, I would imagine those tyres are hurting. I imagine they're hurting bad.
Ferrari does have very clever electronics. The ABS, the traction control, they do a pretty good job, but it doesn't make it easy to have these tyres last. It's maybe a touch easier than a Lexus or a Nissan or one of these old school front-engined beasts. But anything for 80 minutes on a single set of tyres, or 75 as it is so far, will get uncomfortable around now.
Yeah, it'll normally get uncomfortable around the 50-minute mark. That's when you burn through a good chunk of the rubber. But, like, fair play to him. Like I say, I've ran this track with 100-minute old tyres on a Porsche, which felt awful. The last 10 or so minutes of that, I was just sideways through every corner.
I was going to say, the Porsche balance will change a lot over a stint as well, so a double stint on the tyres, that's something.
Yeah, the only other time I've done something like that was in a wet race at Oulton Park, where I ran 2 hours on a set of wet tyres. Because,
That's doable in the wet, though, if it's properly wet and you're careful with it.
Well, I'll tell you, because it was
not
really,
easy, but doable.
It was really wet in the first stint, and then the rain stopped, but because the track was so cold, it didn't dry out.
I see.
So everyone swapped to slicks, and I was one of the only cars on, like, I was on an hour-old wet tyres, and I was 6 seconds a lap faster than everyone around me.
That was a bit uncomfortable for Vozarek. He just have to go on off the track to avoid a pair of back markers who behave somewhat unpredictably. Yeah. He has now got through that scare. Having spent a fair amount of time at Oulton Park, I can assure you that the cold, that's not limited to the sim. That is a problem all the time there, apart from about mid-August. So yeah, it is absolutely freezing. And fun fact, the commentary box there for ventilation has a slight gap between the wall and the roof. So when it's windy, you know about it at Oulton Park. It's going to be my little story.
There you go. That's some interesting knowledge for everyone this Wednesday evening. At the very least, you've learned something tonight. There you go. I know I have.
And probably forgotten a lot. They've learned something. I feel like I've lost brain cells watching a couple of the incidents in this one. It's
definitely lost a good few brain cells watching some of this.
Corny's going to be such an interesting conundrum here, though. I mean, he was catching Riemviz hand over fist. He's taken half a tenth out of him on the last lap, but it's not coming down significantly at this stage. Vozorek still holding his own. 2 minutes 33 remaining. Where is he? He's about halfway around the lap. If he wants it to be, this is going to be pretty close on starting his last lap, because of course he's got 45 seconds on the field, so he can wait in theory. If he's close on fuel, he can knock a lap off the race distance.
Yeah, he can take it easy. I'm genuinely shocked if he has the fuel to do this.
This could be an absolute masterclass. This is Anatoly Kroitov that we were looking at for just a moment there. Kroitov is trying a similar strategy in the rookie class. So both class leaders are yet to stop. Second place in the AM class is yet to stop, as indeed Ben Beams is yet to stop as well, running third in rookie. So at the moment, what's that? 2/3 of your potential podium finishers have employed the alternative strategy that coming into it we did not think would be viable. Anatoly Kroitov on what for him will be his penultimate lap, I suspect there. He'll have one more to go after this. Simon Vozorek might be timing this to absolute perfection. He's not going to have to come in. This is the final lap. The question is just, can he get to the end of it?
Yeah, does he have the fuel to get to the end of it? If he's still pushing the car, he must have.
He's not lifting and coasting. I've got him loud and clear in my ears, and he's pushing on as he has on just about any other lap, to be honest. He's half a second down on his best lap of the race, but his best lap of the race is pretty quick. So with a bit of traffic, he is making a lot of progress.
I'm also surprised that Moreno can do this as well. In the McLaren,
Moreno,
because he started the last lap.
Moreno, if he's not careful, though, could get caught by Riemviz. Vozorek could cruise to the line from here, and he will win the race. This is just a case of stay out of trouble. Moreno has 3 seconds back. That next pair of headlights is Riemviz, which is why he's given the flashers to this back marker, because he needs to get through. If he has fuel drama, he's going to get caught, and he's just had his nose wiped as well by this back marker. 14, 13, 12, 10 seconds remain on the clock. It'll be a hairy one for Moreno, but out front into the final corner, Vozorek unchallenged as the strategy is played out. It has been absolutely brilliant from the 510, who comes home to take the win in the first round of Rookie Wednesday Season 16. He's off to the best start possible. Can he continue that through the rest of the season? The rest will certainly be taking note of the tactics he used before we head to Alton Park. Next up is Moreno, and a 4-second gap has come down to 1.8 throughout this lap, but he's only got 2 corners to go after this one. Surely the 223 Ferrari can't catch him. He is edging closer all the time. 1.8 has come down to 1.3, it's 1.2, it's 1.1. And a back marker to deal with here for Diego Moreno, who's trying to pull off this no-stop strategy through the final corner. Still the traffic, still the gap comes down. It's to 0.7 of a second. Moreno holds on. He is going to cross the line in second place. Riemviz, who put together possibly the best standard strategy race, finishes third. And Pateron not even onto the podium because of the strategic differences. This is what we expected when we said no mandatory stops, and boy, has it delivered.
Absolutely, and here's your rookie winner. Kroitov is about to cross the line, doing the same no-stop strategy, wins the rookie class. Fantastic stuff from that. P2 in rookie class is finished as well. Korikis, even though he's had a few incidents. Ben Beams in the 991 is a dark horse for the podium in the rookie class, as the 991 is not normally a car you consider to be fast, but he's made it work. Brilliantly done. We'd love to see.
He's made it work, and he had a couple of incidents along the way as well, so the pace was clearly there. Criddle was super close to a podium at the end, but not quite onto that rookie rostrum. Same can be said for the likes of Kevin Pikiri and Alexander Molins just behind in that rookie class. Your top
Yeah.
5 at the finish then was Bozaric from Moreno, Riem Viz completing your podium. Then it was Pokorny and Krotov. As for your rookie finishers, it was Krotov from Karikis and Ben Beams.
Yep.
All of that, of course, is going to be somewhat provisional because there are going to be the option for protests come the very, very end of the week. That will be open until the weekend, and then all results will be available on SimGrid prior to Alton Park, which you won't want to miss next week.
Yep, absolutely. The results, we now go into a reporting phase, so anyone who needs to make reports can do so. And then pay any penalties, so on and so forth. And then after that, it will be the results will be posted in a few days' time. So just gotta keep an eye out for that and make sure you get your reports in as you need to. But yeah, that was brilliant. I would say we could do interviews. I don't think A, anybody's in the waiting room, and B, I'm too warm to sit in this room any longer. So I don't really want to. This room is boiling. So yeah, I think
So I think
we're gonna
for the
call it there.
health of Barry, we'll call it a night, is what I'm hearing from that. What I would
Yes.
say, quick thank you to everybody who's tuned in. If you were watching and you want to get involved, as a former driver in this championship, I can hugely recommend it. The community is brilliant and will help you every step of the way. Just head across to SimGrid, look for Toga Motorsport. You can sign up for the championship there, and in doing so, you'll get a link across to the Discord as well.
Yep, absolutely. Do we have a? I think we have a lot of races on this week. Hang on, let me pull it up because we have
A
a few.
lot of races this week.
Yeah, we've like 5 races this week, don't we? 1 second, I'm just gonna pull it up. So,
Kicking off on Friday, we've got the LM GT3 Rookie Series on LMU. This, of course, having been on ACC. That's the start of the LMU Rookie Series, and I'm really looking forward to watching that one.
yep,
We've got Interlagos, 100 minutes of it on Saturday at 6 p.m. LMU once again. And then Le Mans Ultimate is back for another race on Sunday, and this one will be really quick. That's the Pro Series, all the action kicking off from 7.
yep, absolutely. It's an action-packed week for LMU as we are adopting LMU because it's becoming more popular alongside our ACC races. So keep an eye out for those. Sign up for them, assuming there's space, and get involved essentially. But yeah, that's all from us in the comments box. So thank you for joining us. Keep an eye out for the races the rest of the week, and tune back in for Rookie Wednesday Race 2 next Wednesday at Alton Park.
I can't wait.
Good night, everyone, and we will catch you later. Have a good one.